Good morning, all. I hope I don't have the problems with the audio as I had last time. Anyway, so let me check audio check. Everything can be heard, audio and video. Hey, how you doing, Clyde? Dom, hi Dom. Sound okay? Mm. Hi Tim. Everything good. Great. Okay. Um. So I today what I wanted to do. I've been coming up with these ideas. I thought, boy, it'd be neat to have this, and would be neat to have that. I've been putting up some ideas on the Pure Horology Facebook page, and two that I had. One was with Vincent Calabrese's Calcis, and there are a lot of people who thought that, boy, yeah, let's get a project and get a hold of old Vincent and do something like that. Another one I wanted to do for a long time is sort of take. I don't know if you're familiar with what the back of a Georg, Langenheim Georg look like, but it's a rectangular case, and you can see the entire wheel train, and it's just like, looking at you can see everything. And the other thing I like is like, Jaime Ahsoka's great big balance wheel. Well, they put those together and have a nice smooth balance wheel and everything else. There would be a watch on the other side of that. So, but these are some ideas that I've come up with, and I thought, well, I wonder what everybody else's concept. What do you think your ideal watch would be? I've sort of been of two minds. Should we talk about ones we could possibly afford, or just sort of figured, we could have anything we wanted? And it's just sort of using some kind of sort of moderation somewhere between, if we put something together that was so outrageously expensive that none of us could afford it, or at least looking at a watch. So, hey Caesar, how you doing? Kotov, how are you? um so anyway, so let's hear some ideas that you might have on this. Originality is invaluable. Yeah. Hey, by the way, before I go any further, uh, let me say that there was yesterday. I think it was yesterday, or at least the first time I saw it, it was yesterday on Friday. There was a video about Lurique, and the it was big thing about a cheap watch that the Swiss hated. I thought, what? It wasn't exactly that. It turned out to be a really good and very interesting video about Lurique and what we were up to. And I think Watchfinder, yeah. I think they exactly got it right. I mean, at first, I mean, there was nothing underhanded or nefarious. It was simply like, look, this is what we can afford, but if we do it this way, we can afford a much, much better watch, and we did it. So, not always easy, but I'm glad they understood what we were doing, because sometimes they don't, and that's no fun. Do I need a designer? Yeah, no kidding. Really need a designer. Hey, Tim. Hi, Scuba. Like to own a movement, like you're proposing. Yeah, that the idea, Scuba, was I would really like to see some kind of deal that we could set up. Well, we do sort of have it already, but really create a movement that then, other watchmakers would have, not watchmakers, but watch collectors would have, and makers would have access to make any kind of watch they wanted. Now, if somebody said to me, "What's your ideal watch?" I was thinking about it, and the things that I would want would be pretty much a time only watch. I don't even know if I'd want a date or not. Okay. And again, that's just me. I prefer far prefer hand wound. I'd get a hand wound one. I'd have a power reserve indicator. In other words, this would look a whole lot like FP Journe Chronomet Souverain. But the the other thing I would add to it would be an egalite, remontoir egalite, so that I would have this constant force. Really be fun to set up something like that. By the way, some of you, Rancher, I think you do, and some of the other guys, do you remember Eddie, uh, who was really active in the group and stuff, and then he went off to Harvard, to I don't know what Eddie's major was, but, he really wanted to have or want at that time, it was, boy, when I graduate, I'd really like to sort of manage or own a watch company. Anyway, after the Watchfinder, video, I heard from him, and he said, "Oh, he really liked it," so forth. A really super nice guy. I said, "How would you like it? You want one? Here's one already made for you. Turn it into a commercial, company." Yeah, that's true. What is the budget for the Lyrique 2? Uh, um it's pretty much the same what we ended up on Lyrique number 1. It's a little more because we have the, Guilloche. There's some other places that we saved money on development. We thought we were gonna use exactly the same movement, but it turned out to be there were some things that were, mm, changed, they were upgraded. Anyway, I don't wanna talk too much about it because it's still in the process of being created, and, um, as much as I like the first one, I think I'm gonna like the Etude number 2 even better, but, what I wanna talk about today is let's just, sort of talk about, what you'd like to do. I mean, say, "Hey, if I had a watch," and then, you can talk about it affordability and whatever is affordable to you, not sort of a more general sense. And say, "This is what I would like." Now, if it's impossible, okay, then that's I mean, impossible financially, that's another story. Hey, P time, a simple 36 millimeter white dial, small seconds, and heat blued hands, with, deck watch. Hand on yeah. No, I understand that, that's a very good one. Hi, E. DeVere. Would you rather have it the H. Moser tourbillon that you love? Was it the 300K one or none or more? No, I really it's funny, Ediver. I don't know how to say your name. Anyway, I'm really not into tourbillons. I just I mean, that's something that I'm not into. So it's sort of like something to set up. I do like H. Moser, and I have a couple of them, and they're wonderful watches. But in terms of you take a watch that's very close to the kind of thing I like is the Gronfeld, their Remontois. That one is time only. It's a very simple in one sense. Remontois Egalite is not simple at all. But the way their entire watch is a very simple in its best sense. Simple in the sense of simple, elegant, simple, you know, time telling. Just it's a nice, super simple watch. Hey Brian, hi Hater, how you doing? Vacheron Constantin, Patrimony, Platinum, two-hander, manual wine. Tim, um, there are a number of Vacheron Contentins that I really, really like along those lines. I don't know the um, some of they have some really interesting retrograde dials on some of the Vacheron Contentins that are really cool. One thing though about Vacheron Constantin, including the one I have, they're great watches, but I don't know. the kinds of things that really make a watch to me is some kind of internal constant force, like a Remontoy-Galatea, like dual barrels and parallel of a fusee and chain, but they're pretty big, so I sort of set those aside. So that's the kind of thing I'd sort of look for. It's ICO. Is that right? Elco. Elco. Did I say that all right? I hope so. Ilko? Ilko. No, I'll try Ilko. Dominic, some of the golden bridges. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's another thing, Dominic. In my ideal watch, I would want to have the wheel train laid out like the Georg so you could see everything with a great big balance wheel. So, yeah, that I would like too. Um, I used to be very, very much um, in favor of a center second over now I'm getting educated, so eccentric seconds. A lot of this was a reference I've heard a lot in the Swiss watchmakers time, rather than small seconds. Any seconds that's not in the center is eccentric. Okay. Uh yeah, but something like that. So that would be that would have sort of pretty much everything I'd want. Now, whether that could be done in an affordable way or not, that's another story. Hi, Koji. For me, a big ass balance wheel and the slowest beat. Yeah, very much so. That sounds like, well, it's sort of funny. On the one hand, it sounds like the Groenfeld one, what's that called? One beat or something like that, or one hertz. But on the other hand, and they have a huge balance, but they have sort of a double balance thing on that. I'm not quite sure if that was what I had in mind. I like Koji, Jaime Ahsoka, his watch with that great big balance wheel. That's a balance wheel. Of course, he's got 18,000 semi oscillations per hour. Hi, Gilberto. Better late than never. You're right. Hi, Canadian Watch Monkey. Caesar, let's see, manual wound, time only, no second, large balance wheel, special dial, and nicely decorated movement. I love the look. Um, Metal bracelets, but prefer to wear bands. Yeah, I prefer bands too, and I've got one watch with a metal bracelet. And it's a great one, but I like the old. This is a it has a black gator band, um, or blue. I'm not sure which. Sort of hard to tell in this light. What I did when I got this watch, um, I got a new band for it, and I think this one's black. And changing bands on this watch was such a task that I did a little video on how to change your band on a Beauvais 1930 Fleurier. Uh, what do you feel is a better movement, the El Primero or the Rolex in-house chronograph? I know you're not a lover of chronograph. No, I'm not. You're right, Canadian monkey. None of the above. I like the Agengraph. To me, if you can have something that's that brilliant compared to something that isn't, that's the one. That reminds me again of Carol. What's her name? Carol Forstier Casapi. She won the Watchmaker of the Year, I think, back in 2012. And she was talking with somebody. They said, well, is it more difficult to create a chronograph or a tourbillon? And she said a chronograph. So that was sort of an interesting insight into and sort of the one chronograph ish watch that I have has a Valjoux 84, I think, in it. And that's the mono Rattrapante. And you're just looking at that, and that thing is about as simple as you could get for a and it has a functioning chronograph. Even that looks complicated. Enamel dial, manual wind, no date, small seconds, but it can't decide on type of numbers yet. Yeah, that's a. Um, I like Breguet numbers. I know. Where's Nicholas? Not Nicholas, but um, Brian. Brian is a big fan of the uh, Breguet numbers. I have a couple, 2 or 3 watches with that, and I really like it. But I'd like other ones. I like another type of font, simply because I have too many with the Breguet font. But yeah, that's a beautiful font for watches. An enamel dial. I'm of 2 minds of enamel dials. I have one watch with enamel dial. It's my Longines. That was that. I guess it's from 1989 that they had the big, and that's for the equation of time. And one of the things they, for some reason, they have an enamel dial, and they're really beautiful. I don't know though. I think I'd probably worry about an enamel dial. The one I like a plain metal dial, very much like Metallim uh, has on our Etude number 1. But enamel dials can just be gorgeous. Hi, Eric. A classic heritage manual wine, keen on perpetual calendars, appreciate a pocket watch. That is certainly well, yeah, pocket watches, I probably the my only problem with pocket watches is I wouldn't use them. That's because I like wristwatches and carry them around with me. Hey, Big Sal. VC 1921 is my ideal, have yet to find the ideal sports watch. Rolex. There you go, Brian. Hey, Dan, good morning. Kotov, what cases are my favorite? My favorite cases, I thought we were going to have one, but I like the ones. Ophion has this real nice case, fairly simple stainless steel case with teardrop lugs. I like that a lot. Um, this a case like this watch is so much fun. I should wear it more. Uh, but I mean, here you have is really a perfectly round case with what amounts to bar lugs at the top and the bottom. But the top has the crown and bow at the top. That big thing right there. That is so comfortable. It just sort of blends in with your wrist. It doesn't look it. That thing looks like I gotta wear that thing around, but it's very comfortable. This watch is I wound it up a couple days ago. I thought, well, I'm gonna be needing this in a few days, so I wound it up and set the time and everything. I got up this morning, checked the time, and spot on. This is really wonderful watch. This is a watch. Another thing I like about it, and I would like in a watch of my own, is um how closely the um the movement fits in the. It's almost a perfect fit of the movement within inside the case. And the reason I like that is it sort of hints to the fact that the movement and case were made for one another. I had this wonderful watch long time ago, um, a an El Leroy, and it's just a gorgeous watch. And I had him take the back off and look at it. And there's this little bitty movement. Turned out to be an ETA 7001. I was depressed for a week after that. But the thing is, that little it was based on I mean, it is a Pezou 7001 that ETA bought, but that is a good little movement. So, I got to watch all of the prejudices that come up. Um, Philippe de Force simplicity is pretty much my ideal. Yeah. Yeah, mine too. And Rancher's point, the 37 millimeter version. I like the 37 millimeter version. To be honest with you, I'm really not crazy about the cases and dial. Well, the cases are okay, but the dials on some of those other simplicities. Not that I would ever even think of rejecting one, but the one I like the best is the 37 millimeter one. Hey, Sam's dad. I want a titanium case with 1,000-meter water resistance and probably ETA automatic movement. Okay. The Caesar, yeah, the Moser's Fume dials. Yeah, they got super dials on those things. I'd be more than happy with a 34 millimeter. There you go. Yeah. Well, me too, tell you the truth. Is you get 34 millimeters or you don't get nothing. Okay, I'll take the 34 millimeters. Never take it off. Uh, hey, Rancher, you're becoming famous. Talking Hands did an episode about the watch. You and the members created the Reek. Huh. Talking Hands. I'm not sure. I don't think this is the funny part about it. I don't think any of us want to be famous, at least in the Lurik group. We just want to watch that we could afford. That was it. Uh, you know, speaking of which, I was sent this. This is the most unusual uh, little stand for watches. They sent it to me to take a look at, and so I thought, well, I'll put my Larique on it. It's sort of fun, to have it up there and look at. I have some other ones, um, those little plastic ones they have in jewelry stores. I had a bunch of those set up, but I kept knocking them over, so I put them away. Rancher, you're right. We gotta learn how to ignore the experts and learn on our own. We're on our own out here, man. Don't believe me. We're on our own without a parachute in watching. Uh, there's I don't know. There's some crazy rankings and other kinds of things I've seen. I just, you know, I know it's sort of like I guess I get to the point now in collection and knowing about watches. Uh, I know what I like based on knowing more and more about what's inside and what could be inside. Um, uh, I tell you though, a good dial, the one that what's his name? The one that I had, uh, do more, I think, or something like that. The guy who put it together, and he uses a Solita movement. But look at that. That's a gorgeous watch. You could wear that thing every day for the rest of your life. And what, for 1,200 and something bucks, something like that, you can have a fantastic watch. Um, Unfortunately, what I like is they don't make that many of them and they're expensive. Hey there, if you had to pick Dufour or Daniels, which would you pick? Do they have a all of the above option? Hater. I don't know. Boy, that's a good question. I'd probably go with the Dufour. One thing Dufour has is they have the finishing is probably a little better. Also, Dufour does use a nice big balance wheel, but either one of those watches would be fantastic. Um, Gilberto, the Vacheron Constantin Traditionnel small seconds in white gold. That, yeah, that is a beautiful watch. That's like asking which one of Charlie's Angels you date. I'll tell you, Rancher, Charlie's Angels are now getting a bit, they're probably all long in the tooth. It was, oh, that's funny. Let's see, are the German independents offering the most bang for the buck? You know, there's Stefan Kadoki, uh, Kristen Klings, Marco Lang. They're doing a real work on. Again, I put a lot of emphasis on movement. Unfortunately, in my opinion, as much as I like German watches, most of them use Swiss movements. I mean, you take Sen and a lot of the other. I mean, the big ones. The ones that sell out. They're using ETA movements or some other Swiss movements. I don't even know any of them using special Swiss movements. They're just using run of the mill ones. Uh, I think that because I do like German watches a lot, uh, and one of my favorite is my Langenheim, and it's not so much what the Germans could do; it's what they've done, and I would like to see more of it. One of the ones that was doing a lot of those things was Alonga, and they were bought by Richemont and were never quite the same after that. Good morning, James. How are you? How's my Fabergé Alexi? I love that watch. My Fabergé Alexi, even though it's got a solid case back, that has got to be the most ironic watch. I mean, this is a hipster's watch if they want irony, and that is that here they have this incredible uh, Imperial Eagle for a rotor, and it's underneath a solid back. I mean, what? What were they thinking? All they had to do was put a sapphire crystal back there so you could see the thing. But they got this big, and I've yet to determine whether it's in steel or white gold, but I think it's in white gold for the weight factor. S Yeah, so that Alexi, and then the Guy Loche is just beautiful. It is strange, I guess the Roman numerals they have on there are the way they have them italicized are it's a little unusual, but god, I love that watch. Keeps great time. Just a wonderful watch. I'm glad you shouldn't have asked, I'll go off tangent on that one. Uh, anyway, James, that's a good question. Hi, Arabia Felix. My favorite watch has to be the one I wore from when I was 16 to 32. I never took it off no matter what. It was the Cartier Must Must 21. For years, literally for years, I wore this little Rado uh, that was, let's see, it was a quartz. It was a quartz watch, and it was little, and it was gold plated. And a friend had given it to me, and I thought, "Wow, this is such a cool watch. I'm gonna wear this all the time," and I did. And when I learned more about watches, I had a different view of it. But yeah, uh, Felix, I know what you mean. Oh, we're in a go now. Yeah, yeah, that's another German watch company. I think that it's got places it could go. Glashütte Original, but then see, instead of now they're starting to stuff those silicon hairsprings in them because they're owned by Swatch. That's to me, though, they haven't done as many good as they could have. By the way, too, that was sort of I heard that Watchfinder is owned by Richemont. We're a target. I know it. Larique is going to be snatched up. Hi, Oatman. My ideal watch would be something that I can wear casually, but also for. Yeah, yeah, it's sort of an all-round watch. I like that idea. German watches are special, and you have to appreciate the work, and they are safe to wear. No one knows what you have on. Yeah, that's a good point. More gold, yeah. Yes, James. And for a gold, James, gold at a price of often less than most uh, good stainless steel watches. Plan on getting a Hertzschild watch. Not me. Okay. Oh, time's up. Okay, guys. Let me go answer a couple more things here, and then I've got to go. We can talk some more this afternoon. American watchmaker. Who comes to mind? Um, what's his name? The guy in Pennsylvania. Oh, the guy in Pennsylvania. That's who comes to mind. Um, that's the problem is in-house movements. I think that's where everybody gets hung up on that. I'm so into concept of a collection. It's hard to think of a single watch. Yeah, Bulgari Diakono right now. Looking at one. I tell you, to me, on Bulgari, they're still the best deal around, both in terms of looks and everything else. Is the Roma, that first simple Roma? Those there are some for sale at very very good prices. Ranch. Let's see. Watch Monkey, the whole watch world is one massive rabbit hole. You no kidding. I agree with that. We all live in the same rabbit warren. I've been watching German language watch channels, including Cologne Watch and Watch David. Okay, Koji, guys. Yeah, RGM Rancher. That's who I was thinking of. Roland Murphy. That's the guy. He doesn't do a whole lot with making their own. Okay, guys, listen. I gotta jump. So anyway, thanks everybody for getting up early. For those of you who got up early, if you're from California, thanks a whole lot. You were up really early. Take care.